Benfica are undisputably one of the best clubs in the world when it comes to navigating the transfer market, either creating young talents from their legendary academy, such as players like Joao Felix, who was sold for an insane 127 million euros to Atletico Madrid, or in other cases, finding a hidden gem, like Enzo Fernandez from River Plate, and then flipping them for an enormous profit. I mean, Enzo is one of the most expensive midfielders of all time, with reports saying Chelsea would spend over 107 million euros to get him. Benfica as a club has generated over €1 billion in player sales, which is not bad for a club outside the Europe's traditional top 5. And although they currently sit third in the Premier Liga, with everyone in the world shining the light on first place Sporting and their star man Gyökeres, who looks as though he will be one of the best strikers in the world very soon if he isn't already on that short list, there is a player who is quietly destroying everybody in his path: Kerem Akturkoglu. Benfica would purchase Kerem from Galatasaray for a measly fee of €12 million this season, and he might just be their best player. Signing to a 4-year deal this season, he has played 15 games in all competitions and scored an impressive 10 and assisted 6 more, and even scoring in both Champions League games Benfica has won so far. And with teams already allegedly making offers to Benfica, such as Manchester United, ready to pay €40 million for his signature just a couple months after Kerem would be bought, but it looks like as Benfica don't care, as they have no interest to talk to anyone who isn't willing to pay his release clause, which they strategically put at €60 million. But just who is this guy who seemingly came out of nowhere, and at 25 years old, transcending his career at an age we usually don't expect players to? From playing on the dirt pitches of the Turkish 3rd Division and being saved from a rubble of an earthquake as a baby, to scoring on Champions League nights, this is the story of Kerem Akturkoglu. Kerem was born in his home country of Turkey in 1998 in the city of Izmit, but his life could have tragically ended before he was even a year old, as on the 17th of August 1999, his city would be hit with a 7.6 magnitude earthquake, where more than 17,000 people would tragically pass away. In fact, his childhood home would also be destroyed by this earthquake, and he was actually trapped under rubble, but in a very lucky turn of events, he was saved by his family. Although Kerem would not be able to recall anything as he was just 10 months old, the tragedy still brings pain to his family members to this day. But just like a lot of other Turkish kids, Kerem's childhood would be one where football was the main focus of his free time, even joining his local side at age 13. However, his big break would come in 2015, where Super League side Istanbul Başakşehir would sign him to the academy, which would be a big step up. But he was ready, in fact only playing 1 year with the academy before getting a professional contract with the Istanbul side. However, he was unable to really find any time for the club and would quickly ask for a loan to improve his game, which would be approved, sending him to the then 3rd tier side Bodrumspor. In 29 matches he would have 4 goal involvements and would be champions of the league, promoting to the 2nd tier. However, Başakşehir would have no interest in selling or playing him, as he would once again find himself on the reserve side. With Kerem even stating in an interview his time at Başakşehir was terrible, saying he wanted to forget those times, and thinks 4 years of his playing career would be stolen by the club. Things were really toxic for him at Başakşehir, as they wouldn't sell him to many 3rd tier clubs who were interested in him, and they had no intention of playing him either. Kerem would even try to retire from the game at age 19, which his parents would luckily convince him otherwise, as they truly believed in him. Once his contract would end with Başakşehir, he would head to the 3rd tier, joining Karacabey, where he would work his tail off to see the pitch. And he was finally getting game time. Featuring in 35 matches, his output would be minimal, scoring 3 goals and 2 assists. But once again, his fierce work rate would catch the eye of a certain scout from another club in the 3rd division, who saw Kerem as a hidden gem, convincing Kerem to join his club known as 24 Erzincanspor, which would turn out to be Kerem's best decision in his footballing career. Kerem had been in a team where he felt loved, and that showed, as he would ball out, scoring a hat-trick in the playoff semi-final. Kerem's 20 goals that season were the big reason why they were promoted to the 2nd tier. And not only that, he would feature in a match against Turkish giants Beşiktaş in the Turkish Cup, where he was arguably on the same level as all the Beşiktaş players, impressing with his speed and dribbling, and that would catch the attention of many teams. But even he couldn't expect what would happen next. Galatasaray would call, and he didn't think twice, as he was playing in the 3rd division. When the biggest club in your country believes in your potential, I don't think there was much to contemplate. but the level was something Kerem needed time to adjust to. As he was seen as physically weak, it would not get minutes until the 9th matchday, where he would make his debut by coming on in the 90th minute. His dream of becoming a professional footballer would finally come true, but even he acknowledged that he was still in development. Getting minutes in injury time, Kerem would not let this chance go, as just 2 weeks later against Hatayspor, Kerem would score his first goal 2 minutes after coming on. And well, this was the start of the hype train, as many Galatasaray fans would call for him to get more playing time on social media, and this would be the turning point for him, as his lifestyle was set up in a way where the only option was success. Coming out in an interview stating, "After football training, I don't go out, I spend most of my time at home." He would put himself on special training programs and diets to improve his physical stature, a move that would pay off big time. Although Kerem was fighting to be a starter, he had certainly earned himself credit by scoring 6 goals and notching 3 assists in his first season while coming off the bench. Seemingly being elevated by his peers and coaching staff, Kerem would find himself on fire early in his second season with the club, but the road to stardom was never that easy, as now Kerem would get more playing time as he wanted, but the criticism would also start flowing in. Being labeled as a bee who doesn't make honey by some Galatasaray fans due to his poor finishing and questionable passing decisions, things were only getting worse for him, as his own teammate Marcao would get a red card for punching and slapping Kerem after an argument. At this time, Marcao was one of the best players in Galatasaray, and Kerem was still more of an on and off player. So once again, the fans suspected Kerem to be the problem, which in hindsight is just wrong. Kerem is a very humble and respectful guy, and Marcao was seriously wrong for doing something like this. Anyways, Kerem was able to retain his spot in the starting 11 due to his insane work rate, and after their Europa League exit to Barcelona, Xavi would see the potential in him. He is very fast and interesting talent, very good on one-on-one, and gave it his all during the 2 matches. Earning this type of praise from the opponent's coach must have been a sign to how good he was and how he could become. And in the league he would show that, as in 52 appearances that season, he would score 13 and assist 13. Becoming one of the most underrated Turkish players, and he would earn his first league title with Galatasaray that same season, where he and Icardi would be the perfect duo to dominate the league. But for some reason, the hate would just not stop, as Kerem would live his modest lifestyle, doing nothing wrong and focusing on the pitch, but fans wouldn't understand his value. And honestly, it got to a breaking point. This past season, Osimhen would be available for loan, and to raise money to afford his wages, Kerem was seen as someone replaceable to Galatasaray and their fans, as they would sell him for just 12 million euros. And honestly, it's almost like he changed overnight. I mean, his work rate, dribbling, and attack positioning was always great, but his finishing has become elite. Playing in the Nations League, he would score a hat-trick against Iceland before heading to the Portuguese League, where he has been tearing it up, as in just 3 matches he has scored 2 goals and 2 assists, and has been integral to Benfica's great start in the Champions League, where they find themselves 3rd on the table. Not only that, but in his second game against Iceland, he scored a 95th minute screamer to steal the game for the Turks, who are at the top of the table in Nations League B. But one of the reasons he's playing up to his potential is because of less pressure, as the Turkish league might be one of the most stressful environments to play in, especially if you're playing for a team like Galatasaray, who has a win every trophy every season or it's a failure type mentality. But not only that, getting away from the fans who would criticize and overanalyze this man's every move has been so much better for his mental health, as he is absolutely adored by the Benfica fans so far, who seem to actually understand the type of player he is. Not only that, but he has access to a much better coaching and training staff. Not to disrespect Galatasaray, but there's a reason as to why Benfica is a prime choice for many young players who want to make their next step up in their career, as the training facilities and practices are top tier, helping Kerem develop as a player even more. And to also help with the move, fellow Turkish international Akturkoglu is there, as he's gotten off to a very good start this season as well, as they have both assisted each other multiple times this season. It seems as though their friendship has been an important piece to his transition to a foreign country. And with the release clause of 60 million euros, if he keeps playing like this, which I think he will, then there's no doubt in my mind we will see this guy playing for a Premier League club very soon. And I think this never give up mindset will make him one of the best left wingers in world football. I'm very excited to see his future unfold this season. But don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one.